A very good morning, guys. We'll continue with the last class. In the last class, we were in the discussion of. We have just started the discussion of previous year's CET questions. We'll continue with that. Here comes our next question. Here comes our next question. Which of the following is correct order of radius? Which of the following is the correct order of radius? And if you look at the options, here this is the question regarding the ionic radius. You have the comparison of ionic radius of various ions. In the first option we have H minus. This is hydrogen. This is hydrogen atom, and this is proton. H plus. The second question we have Na plus, F minus, oxide ion, O minus. In the option C we have fluoride, oxide, and sodium ion. In the fourth option we have aluminium, magnesium, and nitride ions. So basically, apart from this one, apart from the first option, rest of them are isoelectronic species. What is meant by isoelectronic species? Having same number of electrons. In isoelectronic species, ionic radius of ion will be inversely proportional to atomic number. Right? And here, if you look at the first option, here we have the comparison of size of neutral atom, anion, cation of a particular element, that is hydrogen. What is the relation between the size of neutral atom, radius of atom, radius of anion, and radius of cation? Generally, what happens? Radius of cation will be smaller than the neutral atom, and radius of neutral atom will be smaller than the anion. This is the general relationship when you are talking about the anion, cation, and neutral atom of a particular element. Now, here what do I say? See, if you look at this, hydride ion is a negatively charged particle of hydrogen atom, which is larger than hydrogen atom, and H plus ion is a cation of hydrogen, which is smaller than the neutral atom. Is it the correct order or not? According to the comparison of radius of cation, atom, and anion. So this will be your correct order of radius. If you look at the other options, see, generally all of them are incorrect. This sodium has to be the smallest, here has given the largest. Here oxide has to be the largest, but largest is given fluoride. Here aluminium has to be the smallest, but here has given the largest. So this is your right option as per the question. It's a question from the ionic radius. Hope it is clear. If it is clear, we will move to the next question. Here comes our next question. Which of the following is amphoteric oxides? First of all, you need to know what is meant by amphoteric oxides. Generally, oxides are classified into several types, such as an oxide can be acidic, basic, amphoteric, and what is this? Neutral. What is mean by acidic? The oxides which are acidic in nature, which can produce acidic nature in aqueous solution, will be called as acidic. The oxides which can basic in nature or which can produce alkaline solution with aqueous solution will be called as basic in nature. The oxides which can act as both, which can exhibit both acidic nature as well as basic nature, will be called as amphoteric, and the oxides which are neither acidic nor basic will be called as neutral. Here we have a question regarding the amphoteric. Amphoteric means both it can act, it will exhibit acidic nature as well as basic nature. Generally, oxides of non-metals will be acidic in nature, oxides of metal will be basic in nature, oxides of metallites or oxides of transition elements in lower oxidation state will be amphoteric in nature, and generally carbon monoxide, nitric oxides are neutral in nature. So among the given options, generally some of the oxides of transition elements, right, in least or lowest oxidation state they will be basic, in highest oxidation state they will be acidic, in intermediate oxidation state they will be amphoteric in nature. This is a very important point. You need to remember that when you are talking about the oxides of transition elements, in the lowest oxidation state they will be basic in nature, in highest oxidation state they will be acidic in nature. In the intermediate oxidation state they will be generally amphoteric in nature. So among these given oxides, vanadium pentoxide, chromic oxide, manganese oxide, chromic oxide, here chromic 2 oxide, vanadium pentoxide, and vanadium tetroxide. Among all these first two, vanadium pentoxide and chromic oxides are the amphoteric oxides. Right? Here in this case, this will be acidic in nature and this will be amphoteric in nature. Right? Here it will be acidic in nature, this will be basic in nature. Here it will be acidic in nature. This will be amphoteric in nature. This will be basic in nature. So right option will be here. Vanadium pentoxide and chromic oxide will be the right answer for this particular question. Hope it is clear. We'll move to the next question. That will be. Here comes our next question. Which of the following oxidation state is common for all lanthanides? Generally, we know that the general electronic configuration of lanthanides is that. What is that? N minus 2. If you are talking about the lanthanides, 4F 1 to 14, 5D 0R1 and 6S2. What is the valence shell? 6S is the valence shell. What is the valence dimension? 5D shell. So this is the anti-valence shell. Generally, we know that if the loss or gain of electrons takes place, that will be generally from the valence shell. If there are no electrons in the valence shell, then it will be from the penultimate shell. So generally, there is a probability of losing these two electrons plus this one electron. So generally, all the lanthanides will exhibit +3 stable oxidation state, because it will lose 2 electrons from the s orbital of the valence shell and 1 electron from the d orbital of the penultimate shell. So that their general oxidation state will be +3 for the lanthanides. Right? For all of them, this configuration will remain constant. So all of them will exhibit +3 oxidation state. Hope it is clear. Here comes our next question. The electronic configuration of transition element X is +3 oxidation state. The electronic configuration of transition element X is +3 oxidation state in argon D5. What is the atom? What is the atomic number? What is saying that an transition element X exhibits +3 oxidation state. In the +3 oxidation state, he has given the electronic configuration of the X. What he has given in the +3 oxidation state? X +3 is having an electronic configuration of argon 3d5. What is meant by +3? When X will exhibit +3 oxidation state, when it loses 3 electrons. Generally, it is an electron from 3d6. It is an element from the 3d6. Generally, we know that it might be having an electronic configuration argon 3d6 and 4s2. If you add these 3 electrons, if you want to find out the atomic number, you have to find out the neutral atom. So here, this will be the electronic configuration of this X, and this will be the electronic configuration of X +3. So what is the atomic number of this X here? Here argon 3d6 and 4s2. Argon will be 8 plus 6 plus 2. How much it comes? It comes 26. Which is the element that is having 26 atomic number? Iron. Are you getting this? He has given the electronic configuration of X +3 and asking you to identify the atomic number of X. So your answer will be B. That is, atomic number of the X +3 X will be 26. Hope this is clear, and I hope you understand how to determine the atomic number of the X based on the oxidation state. If it is clear, we will move to the next question. Here comes our next question. The first ionization enthalpy of the following elements are in the order. The first ionization enthalpy of the following elements are in the order. That is asking about the first ionization enthalpy order, and all the elements are given from. Here all the elements are not from the same period. He has given the elements of carbon, nitrogen, and he has given the silicon and phosphorus. These are from the second period and these are from the third period. Generally, we know that ionization energy, when you are moving left to right in a period, what happens? Ionization energy increases. When you are moving up to down in a group, what happens? Generally, ionization energy decreases. So here you need to the variation of both along the periods as well as down the groups. because as you have been asked to compare the among the elements of the third, here this will be the 14th group and this will be the 15th group. Right? What are the four elements are given. So generally what we know that the ionization energy of the second period will be greater than the third period, and ionization energy of the 15th period should be greater than the 14th period. Right? Now if you see what should be the order here? Here order has to be that we have to take the second period and 15th group we have to take. So if you want to write an increasing order or increasing order group, what comes here? Silicon followed by phosphorus followed by carbon followed by nitrogen is the increasing order. How I take in silicon? See, silicon lies in the generally what we know among these two periods, this period will be having IS ionization energy. Among these two, if you are talking in between the group, 15th group will be having the IS ionization energy. So that means you need to decide first between silicon and phosphorus. As silicon comes in 14th group, silicon will be having less. What happens? Left to right ionization energy increase. So first I have taken silicon and phosphorus. In between these two, carbon and nitrogen comes there. So if you have an atom, you have to go with that. Let us see where we have this correct order. Carbon, nitrogen, silicon. This is absolutely wrong. Phosphorus, silicon. Phosphorus should be greater than the silicon. This is also wrong. Phosphorus, silicon. This is also wrong. Right? Here if you see silicon, phosphorus, carbon, nitrogen. This is a correct increasing order of the ionization energy of the elements of second and third period elements that belongs to the 14th and 15th group. Hope it is clear. Yeah, this makes the completion of questions from the previous ET examination, and we will move to the level 3. We will move to the level 3. Level 3 questions of one material. Using, this is the first question of level 3. Using the data given below, predict the heat changes for the reaction. Using the data given below, predict the heat changes for the reaction. Right? What is the reaction given? Fg gaseous atom reacts with two fluorine atoms in gaseous state to form Mg plus 2 plus 2F minus. Here he has given the first ionization energy and second ionization energy of magnesium, which is 737.7 and 1451 kilojoules per mole respectively. And he has given the first electron gain enthalpy or electron gain enthalpy of fluorine has given. How much it is? Minus 328 kilojoules per mole. By using this data, you need to calculate the energy change associated with this particular reaction. How to find out the enthalpy changes or heat changes of a reaction? Basically, heat changes of a reaction are expressed with delta H. Delta H represents the heat change of a reaction. Delta H will be here. It will be equal. Right? Here it will be equal to IE1, that is first ionization energy of magnesium plus second ionization energy of magnesium plus electron affinity of fluorine. Why you have taken electron affinity here? 2 into electron affinity of fluorine. He has given the electron affinity of 1 fluorine, but how many fluorines are there? 2 fluorines are there, so you need to multiply with this 2. Right? The electron affinity of 1 fluorine will be minus 238. How many fluorines are undergoing reaction? 2. So here, what is the given data? First of all, what do you mean by first ionization energy of magnesium? When magnesium gaseous atom will be converted into Mg plus by losing 1 electron, this will be called as IE1. What it is? It has given how much? 737.7 kilojoules per mole as given. Right? What is second ionization energy? Mg plus when loses 1 more electron. Mg plus 2 plus 1 electron. This will be called as second ionization energy, which is how much? It is 1451 kilojoules per mole is given. Right? And what is electron affinity of fluorine? When gaseous fluorine atom accepts a electron, this will be called as electron affinity. What is, how much he has given? Minus 328 kilojoules per mole he has given. Now, if you put this data and if you want to find out the heat changes associated with this particular process, so what is the equation? Delta H will be equal. What is the first ionization energy? 1737.7 plus 1451 and plus what is this? 2 into minus 320. Right? If you simplify this, on simplification, what you get here? Here the energy changes associated with will be delta H will becomes equal to it comes 1532.7 kilojoules per mole it comes. Right? So let us see where we have the proper option here. This is your correct answer. Of this kilo, how to find out this. This is a calculation of energy changes of a particular equation. Right? We'll move to the next question. Here comes the next question. How many cesium atoms can be converted into cesium plus ions by 1 joule of energy if first ionization energy of cesium is 376 kilojoules per mole? Try to understand the question. How many cesium atoms can be converted into cesium ions by 1 joule of energy if the first ionization energy of the cesium is 376 kilojoules per mole? What is meant by first ionization energy of cesium? When 1 mole of cesium gaseous atom is converted into cesium plus, here the ionization energy, the first ionization energy is given how much it is 376 kilojoules per mole it is. Right? That means when 1 mole of cesium atoms, what is mean by 1 mole? Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 power 23 cesium atoms. In order to remove an electron from it, right? 6.023 into 10 power 23 cesium atoms. How much energy is required? 376. Here the question is asking by 1 joule. That means you have to take this value joules. What it will become? 1000 into joules. In order to convert 1 mole of cesium atoms into cesium plus, how much energy is required? 376 into 1000 joules. Right? Can I write it as 3.76 into 10 power 5 joules? Right. For this many number of, that is 1 mole of cesium atoms required 3.76 into 10 power 5 joules. And how many atoms can be converted? How many cesium atoms can be converted into cesium plus ions by 1 joule of energy? You just need a cross multiplication. Are you getting this? You just need a cross multiplication. From this what you get? It will come 6.023 into 10 power 23 upon what it comes? It comes 3.76 into 10 power 5. Right? Now, on solving this you get it comes around 1.6 into 10 power 18 atom size. Here it will be joules, here it will be 1 joule. So joule will be its answer. And what will be the answer? 1.10 into 10 power 8. Let's see where we have the correct answer for this. 1.6 into 10 power 18 will be the correct answer. Here it has given the first ionization energy of the cesium in kilojoules and asking us to predict the how many cesium atoms can be converted to cesium plus by 1 joule of energy. So this will be your answer for this. Hope it is clear. Here comes the next question. The electron affinity of chlorine is 3.7 electron volts. How much energy in kilocalories is reached when 2 grams of chlorine is completely converted into Cl minus ions in gaseous state? Try to understand the question. Here the question is about the electron affinity of the chlorine. Electron affinity of chlorine is given 3.7 electron volts. How much energy in kilocalories will be released when 2 grams of chlorine is completely converted into Cl minus ions? Now let us try to interpret the data given. Here he has given the electron affinity of chlorine. What is mean by electron affinity? When 1 mole of gaseous chlorine atom accepts 1 mole of electron, it will be converted into Cl minus ion. Here this electron affinity has given how much it is? 3.7 electron volts. And what is asking? What is mean by 1 mole? That means generally 1 mole in the sense its atomic mass equal to 35.5 grams of chlorine, right? Of chlorine. When it is converted into 1 mole of Cl minus, for 35 grams of chlorine, how much energy is needed? 3.7 electron volts. But it is asking here to find out energy is needed for 2 grams in kilocalories. Generally, you need to remember that 1 electron volt electrovolt will be equal to, in the question itself he has given 23.06 kilocalories per mole it is, right? So that means what? 35 grams, 35.5 grams of chlorine is needed, 3.7 into 23.06 kilocalories per mole amount of energy. And how much is needed by 2 grams? If 30.5 grams required, 3.7 into 23.06 kilocalories, how much is needed by 2 grams? See, let us see the 2 grams. This is just a cross multiplication. And what will be answer needed? 3.7 into 23.06 into 2 upon what is this? Upon 35.5 grams. This will be in kilocalories and this will be grams and this will be grams. Grams get cancelled. On simplification you will get 4.8 kilocalories. What is the amount of energy in kilocalories needed to convert 2 grams of amount of energy will be released when 2 grams of chlorine is converted to Cl minus will be 4.8 kilocalories. So let us see where we have the proper option. In the first option itself we have the correct option. Hope it is clear.